Pain Science Part 2. We have an awesome, exciting topic for tonight. We're talking about the other factors of pain. We talked about 3 previous ones in the initial video, so go back and watch those. Those are the 3 main pain points. This one tonight is going to talk about the second 3 factors in our whole month where we're talking about pain and the factors that contribute to it. So with that being said, the 3 that we're going to talk about tonight in detail is number 1, thoughts and beliefs, number 2 is stress, and number 3 is sleep. And you guys are probably very familiar with stress and sleep, but thoughts and beliefs might be a little bit kind of less familiar to people because those play a huge role in how we develop pain and how we get acclimated or how we deal with it essentially. Okay, so let's start with number 1, thoughts and beliefs. Right? Being educated about your pain can help shape our overall health and change how we feel. Okay, that's super important to understand. So if you're educated and you understand how the pain happened and how to get rid of it, you're going to be more likely to recover and you're going to have a more positive mindset based around that and a better belief that I'm going to get to my end goal or the light at the end of the tunnel. So that's why thoughts and beliefs are so important in your recovery. If you go to a busy physical therapy clinic where people are yelling at each other, therapists are getting screamed at, people are negative, there's people crying, right? And this happens sometimes, right? If you're in a lot of pain, especially if you have chronic pain, if you're around that, it's not a good environment. It's toxic. It's like having toxic people around you that you live with. It's not a good situation. Right? And there's a really cool thing that we read in a study recently, guys, me and my team, and it said, do you know that there exists sham surgeries, right, which is like a fake surgery, so to speak, where they had a kind of control group, and then they had a random group, and what they did is they would do knee surgery on this group to fix a meniscus tear, and then on other people with a meniscus tear, they would just put little slits in the actual knee to look like they did the surgery when they didn't actually perform it, and then a month later, they would do all these kind of performance tests to see how they responded to it, and they both had the same decreases in pain. So the people who had the actual surgery with the meniscus tears had good pain relief, and the people who didn't have the surgery, who had the meniscus tears and just had the cuts put in them, had good kind of pain relief as well. So that goes to show you that your mind is so important and it plays such a big role in how you kind of develop and how you get rid of pain and how you get kind of acclimated to it. All right, that's called the placebo effect. There's something called the nocebo effect. All right, that's a bit of a mouthful there. It's Nocebo if you guys want to look this up. And this occurs when there's a belief, right, in something related to the body, but it leads to a negative outcome, right? You're more likely to develop chronic pain from that. So in short, I probably said that confusingly because I confused myself. If you say something negative over and over repeatedly to yourself, it's going to end up developing into chronic pain most likely. This is based on the studies. Okay, so negative messages that are tied to doubt can make your body feel worse, and they can make you more likely to develop that chronic pain over a longer period of time. So a good example of this is like, say you're 30 years old, you go to the doctor, they order an MRI for you. Your doctor is reviewing the MRI with you, sitting down across the table from you. They say, Joe, you're 30 years old, but you have the spine of a 70-year-old, right? That message is powerful because that can harm you. That can make you feel fear and anxiety right away. They can say the same thing to you about lifting weights or running. They might say, stop doing those things because you're too old now. And that can cause increased fear and anxiety, and that's going to cause you to feel doubtful, and that nocebo effect is going to go into full control and take over, and that's not something you want. And the other thing that happens too is people talk to their doctor and they say, when you get an x-ray of your neck or your low back, they might say you have injury or degeneration, right? You have disc bulges and arthritis. But what they don't tell you is that's a normal part of aging, right? There's tons of people with disc bulges and arthritis who have no pain at all, myself included. All right, it just depends on what you do with it. Not everyone's body is at fault if you have those things with imaging, and that's the problem with imaging sometimes. So that's number 1, thoughts and beliefs. Number 2, as we dive into, is stress. Everyone's familiar with stress. We all have some degree of it. Stress is a normal response to certain events that take place in our life. Okay, we have to know how to deal with them, and when we do get stressed, we have a fight or flight system, which is your sympathetic nervous system, that kind of drives into effect to handle that perceived threat. Right? But if it stays activated for too long a period of time, right? If you're constantly getting stressed or you're in a constant state of stress or like danger or something like that, right? It becomes more and more sensitive to stressful events and the anxiety associated with those events. So that means that you're going to kind of weaken your immune system and your nervous system a little bit, meaning that your body's not going to be able to fully recover. Okay? So you have to reduce your stress first by kind of understanding the triggers and then changing your behaviors around those triggers. Okay, and that can mean improving your mindset, improving your relationships in a social kind of realm, right? Removing toxic relationships, improving sleep, diet, and exercise habits. All those things help, and then sometimes breathing exercises like box breathing, and even doing things simply like meditative practices can help also decrease stress. All right, that's the most common one out of all these factors of pain. Number 3 is sleep. This is our final one for tonight. If you have neck pain, back pain, or headaches, these are the 3 things most commonly associated with a lack of sleep. Okay, so most people lack sleep, according to the CDC, right? About 35% of Americans get 7 or less hours of sleep per night. And what is recommended is 7 to 9 hours for any healthy adult age 21 and over. So you got to get your sleep, because what happens during your sleep is your kind of musculoskeletal system and your nervous system regenerate and remodel themselves, right? We kind of heal our physical injuries through our sleep. So we regenerate some neurons, right? And we change it through neuroplasticity. So there are a lot of things happening at sleep. So if you drink caffeine too close to the time you go to bed, or you kind of drink alcohol too close to the time you go to sleep, it's going to affect how long you stay asleep and your quality of sleep too, which we don't really talk about too much. You've got to get that deep REM sleep in order to get these recovery and regenerating processes taking full effect. Okay? So guys, if you have chronic pain, improving your sleep can be a game changer. I work with people where I've done everything under the sun, and I mean dry needling, cupping, massage, right, joint mobilizations, manipulations. I've sent them to acupuncturists. We've tried everything, and then we just focus on the sleep, and a lot of times their pain just slowly gets better and better and better. So sleep is so important, especially if you've had pain for a long period of time, because you can create a negative feedback loop sometimes, which happens like when you have a lot of pain, right, it's going to limit the amount that you can sleep, and that's going to affect how well you can do throughout the day. And the cycle is just going to keep kind of going over and over again and kind of starting. So that sleep can exacerbate the pain, creating a loop where you keep losing more and more sleep, meaning you're going to get less and less regeneration, less and less recovery from that sleep. So some tips you can use to kind of get you sleeping a little bit longer and a little bit more is develop a wind down routine before bed. Maybe it's light stretching, maybe it's like a hot shower or a bath to just decompress. Right? Sleep in a completely kind of dark environment. So use some kind of shades if you have street lights outside or something, or you're sleeping during the day. Keep your temperature low at around 70 degrees or less, right? To keep that body temperature cooled. And then number 4 is do not look at your phone or things that may cause stress. So lock your phone, put it in the corner of the room. Sometimes I'll put it in the bathroom across the hall, right? You can do that too. So you got to wake up to get your alarm too, to actually get yourself out of bed. And shut off those alerts too, because that's important. You don't want to hear those alerts and have to run to get up to go to grab your phone. All right, so those are the 3 things, okay? So now you need to be more aware of these 3 things, right? These are other factors of pain. Again, just to recap, it's thoughts and beliefs, stress, and sleep. All 3 can affect how well you recover and how kind of your pain levels fluctuate. All right, so be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you want more tips and tricks about different pain factors and how they're impeding your recovery, stay tuned because we have a couple more videos coming up. We'll see you guys next week. Take care.